Another one of those crazy stories. I want to start with a story that we probably all heard as children about the little boy and the emperor who had no clothes. Right? For those who haven't heard the story, you get this goofy emperor and some shysters, some con men, offer to sell him this incredible, beautiful set of clothing, but only stupid people can't see it. Right? All smart people can see these clothes. So the emperor, not realizing he's being played for a fool, said, "Oh wow, what beautiful clothes!" He doesn't want anybody to think he's stupid. So he buys this beautiful alleged robe from these con men, and he parades out in front of his people naked, thinking that he's wearing this beautiful clothes and only stupid people can't see it. And a little boy points out, "Hey, the emperor is naked," and that's all I can think about while I'm reading this. These elite so-called private schools in New York City, overpriced indoctrination centers, are now subjecting parents to the mandatory racist harangues and brainwashing of anti-racism and diversity and blah, blah, blah. And they are refusing to allow children of parents who won't go to these nonsense sessions into their schools. And quite a few parents are upset about it. So the New York Post actually broke this story, and they found at least 5 examples of these super elite private schools in New York City that were conscripting parents into these stupid mandatory racial brainwashing sessions. There was a few of the schools that said they were technically optional, but parents who were there actually said that they were taking attendance, and any parents who didn't show up, their kids were kicked off the admissions list. And so, according to the Post, these schools cost about $60,000 per victim, per student per year. And one of the things that I couldn't make sense of, it wasn't indicated in the articles that I saw about this, is why would any parent waste a single penny paying to have their children brainwashed with the same garbage that their taxes are already paying for in the government's brainwash camps? That I couldn't make sense of. But one of the schools they had is Brearley School. This is an expensive indoctrination center for girls, and it's in Manhattan. And they've got this application where it says parents are expected to attend 2 diversity, equity, and inclusion and anti-racism workshops per year. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. A lot of people call it DIE, right? Diversity, inclusion, and equity, because it is so deadly. It's just so preposterous. But it's the new euphemism they have for this racist trash they teach to children, where basically if you come from European ancestors, then you are inherently racist. You are inherently an oppressor. And if you come from a BIPOC background, of Black, Indigenous, people of color, then you are inherently a victim. You are inherently oppressed. And so the parents at these places have to sign this crazy statement. You see it on your screen right now. It's we expect teachers, staff members, students, and parents to participate in anti-racist training and to pursue meaningful change through deliberate and measurable actions. These actions include identifying and eliminating policies, practices, and beliefs that uphold racial inequality in our community, which it would include being a Republican, being a conservative, liking the Constitution, believing that America is a great nation instead of an institutionally oppressive, structurally racist hellhole. There's one of the anti-racist kooks that they brought in for all of this as promoting this Ibram X. Kendi stuff. This guy is such a lunatic. He actually proposed very seriously that America needs a constitutional amendment for a Department of Anti-Racism, and this body would not be politically appointed. It wouldn't be elected. It would be formally trained experts on racism. Like, wow, how convenient, Ibram X. Kendi, right? And this would be responsible, he says, for pre-clearing all local, state, and federal public policies. In other words, a racial dictatorship beyond the accountability of voters or elected representatives. What could possibly go wrong, right? Racial dictatorship. What could possibly go wrong? So this is where they're going, folks. There's another one of these schools. It's called the Horace Mann School. Who in the world would name their school after a lunatic like Horace Mann? I don't know. But they require these family learning sessions where they praise the work of this racist lunatic Robin DiAngelo. That's the author of White Fragility and among other absurd and racist things. She claims that all descendants of Europeans are racist, and you cannot not be racist if your ancestors came from Europe. And so they had a trainer there, some wackadoodle named Taylor, and he says, how can we take D'Angelo's message that you are racist, white people, and make it applicable to all communities in the Horace Mann community? He was mumbling through a face diaper that said Black Lives Matter and I can't breathe, blue, blue. He says, I don't want to be in white spaces. Okay, well, who knows what a white space is? Thought we ended those, in the 60s when all segregation was finally ended. But anyways, this is insane, folks. I can't imagine how any person would even be accept money to subject their children to this kind of insane brainwashing, much less pay money to have their children destroyed with this sort of nonsense. But it I think proves that the old biblical cliche, a fool and his money are soon parted, absolutely true.